Hey guys, happy Thursday. So sorry there was no vlog last week. So tomorrow is Friday. That's usually when my vlogs go up. And there will not be one this week, which you will already know this because this will come out a week later. But I just didn't read much last week. After Christmas and stuff like that and New Year's and my work schedule, I just didn't read much. I didn't really care to after I finished Ninth House and The Wives. I just didn't want to read, so I didn't read. So that's why there's no vlog, because it would literally be me sitting there talking about how many seasons of Grey's Anatomy I managed to watch in like a week. In case you're curious, I started rewatching just before Christmas and I'm already almost done with season 9. I have a problem. But today I am going to film. I need to film my December wrap up, which will go up tomorrow in place of my vlog. And then the video for next Tuesday will be which I'm going to film that hopefully today too. I should, because I've got all the books out. My top 20 books of the decade. Now, you'll have already seen it, but with the top 20 books of the decade, I was reading, but I didn't get hardcore back into reading until like 2016 or so. I was reading before that, but it was all rereading or reading only authors that I knew before, because this was before I found BookTube and before I really got on. I was on Goodreads, but I didn't really use it as much. And so before, BookTube started this downward spiral, because I got in a really bad funk for many years where I've always been an avid reader, but I just ran out of things to read. Like, I didn't know how to find new authors or, stuff that I liked, or find new authors based on what I liked already. And it was just kind of like going in circles every time I go to the library, whatever. Of course, now I have more books than I can read, but there's that. But yeah, so I got to film both of those. And I just got off a graveyard shift. The graveyard last week and this week are off because of the 2 holidays. So instead of going Tuesday into Wednesday graveyard with Thursday, Friday off like I normally have, I ended up with Wednesday off with the graveyard Wednesday night into Thursday morning, which it's now Thursday morning, and then Friday off. So it kind of fucks with my days off, but I'm exhausted. I worked 9 hours and there was overtime because we were short staffed, and it was a huge amount of tags to hang, and I'm tired and my face is flushed. When I'm overtired and I haven't had enough sleep, my face gets flushed like I'm drunk, and it's ridiculous. But yeah, reading, I guess I should tell you what I'm reading. Yesterday, I started Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I am 80 pages in, I think. Yes, I'm on page 80, chapter 11. So please ignore my son. So I started Red Rising yesterday. This is my BookTube darling for the month. It was the one that called me the most, like looking at the stack, like I just really wanted to pick this one up, and I'm glad I did. This is a sci-fi dystopian. Most people know what the Red Rising series is. It's 2 trilogies. So you have the first trilogy, which is Red Rising, Golden Sun, and Morning Star. And then there's another set, which those books are chunky. They are chunky, big fat hardbacks. It's Iron and Gold and another one, I can't remember the name. So a subscriber had told me, because I'd said something in my TBR about how I think they're companion trilogies, and she said yes, they are. So the first trilogy stands on its own, and then the second trilogy has some of the characters from this, but it's kind of its own separate like continuation, so you don't have to read them, but most people do. But so far I'm really enjoying this. It's kind of confusing. It was really confusing to start, because you're kind of thrown into this world. I'm gonna put this down, it's hurting my hand, everything hurts today. It's a kind of confusing world to start with. Like, you have Darrow, who's your main character, and he's married to a girl named Io. And the way society is now is everybody's sectioned by color. And, like, it's almost any color ever. I thought it was just, like, a few. No. Like, they go through them all. There's gold, silvers, coppers, what did they call it? Obsidian, gray, red, yellow, green, blue, pink, blue. I think I said blue. All sorts of shit. Like, they've got all these different colors, and all of them have a different function. So the golds are the top. They are like the cream of the crop, the best. They pretty much do nothing. And then they talk about what each one does. Reds are the bottom, and reds are pretty much treated like slaves. And what did it say? Like, yellows, greens do all the technology. Yellow is all like medical and science and stuff like that. Pinks are pleasure. So they're all like, they run like brothels and hair salons and stuff like that. So it's crazy how it's all structured. So the whole point is Darrow is a red and he works and lives underground in these mines on Mars. And he's been raised and told his entire life that him and his people and all that stuff, they were sent there from Earth and, you know, years ago, and they're mining helium-3, and it's to help so they can terraform all the different moons and planets in our solar system because Earth is deteriorating and overpopulated and blah, blah, blah. And so their work, their blood, their sacrifice is to make it so that Mars and all the other planets and moons can be inhabited, except for, of course, the gassy planets like Saturn and stuff like that, and Venus. But that's like what he's been told. And in the very beginning, you find out, and he finds out that, of course, that's not true, that it was like 300 something years ago, Mars was completely populated, terraformed, like they grow grass. There's, you know, it's fit for humans to live on. They don't even have to have the bubble anymore. Like it's, but they're still slaving away underneath, and they have no idea. And the gaslighting and manipulation and brainwashing, and it's insane, like to where these people, the Reds, like have no idea that there's a whole entire world that exists above the ground, and they have no idea. They think they're doing and helping the greater good, and it's really tragic. And that's where like the dystopian part comes in. But I know it's a sci-fi, well, obviously, but I know it's like supposed to be really adventure filled, and like Darrow is going to infiltrate the Golds and try to bring them down, and that's like the point of the first trilogy, and it's really well loved. It's kind of polarizing. It's one of those series where either you really love it or you really hate it. Like most people that I watch that have read it liked it. Piera Ford is a huge fan of the Red Rising series. Everybody on YouTube, a lot of people know Piera. She is obsessed with Nevernight, and she actually made the Nevernight series. It's like a 3 or 4 part series, I think, and it's up on her YouTube channel. Amazing. She's absolutely amazing. But she really loves the series, and it's intrigued me. I'm getting more into sci-fi, and I wanted to read it, and it's not that long. It's like just under 400 pages. So it's not bad, and it's really engaging, and I'm really enjoying it, and it's moving at a quick pace, which I very much appreciate. It's just the issue was just you're dropped in, and there's all these terms that they use and talking about the world like it's not, it's kind of starting to explain it, but it was just kind of like, okay, it was really jarring, you know, just kind of getting thrown in, but I'm enjoying it so far. You know, yesterday I read, I think, about 50 pages, and then last night before I went to bed, I read like another 30. So I will read some of that today. And then tomorrow is the 3rd of the month, so I will be starting an Echo of Things to Come, which is, I'm not digging it out of the pile. It's at the bottom of my TBR pile. But that's the sequel to The Shadow of What Was Lost, so by James Islington. So I will be buddy reading that again with Cindy. Really excited to start that one and get into that one because, you know, the way the first one ended on not necessarily a cliffhanger, but like one of those shock reveals. So I'm really excited to get into that one. That one will probably take all month to read because it is, yet again, like a 700-800 page behemoth of a book, and it's going to take forever to get through, but I'm really excited to start that one. So I'll be reading Red Rising and that one at the same time, and then hopefully get into my other ones. Red Rising, since I'm reading it pretty quickly because I'm enjoying it, if it keeps going at that pace, I should be able to get this read in a couple of days and then move on to something else. But I don't know what I'm going to read next. But yeah, I'm really enjoying that. But that's my little reading update. I need to film. I kicked my son out of my room so I could get ready to film. I should probably nap. I'm really fucking tired, but both my children are home because I'm still on winter break. They don't go back till Monday. Somebody kill me. So they're home, so it's kind of hard to nap. I mean, they'll leave me alone, but I don't get good sleep because I worry, even though they're 13 and 11. They're probably totally capable while I'm sleeping in the house, but still, I probably won't nap. I'll probably just go to bed at like 6 tonight and, you know, be up at 4 in the morning. But yeah, I got to film both those videos, and I need to at least edit and set the one to upload the wrap up. So I got to do all that, and then I'm going to read, and then I'm just going to lay around and relax because I am goddamn tired. But that's my little update. If I read any more of Red Rising, which I plan to do here in a little bit after I get all my filming and shit done. But if I get any further in that, have anything to say, I will check in with you guys then. Hey guys, happy Saturday. Welcome to the Hot Mess Express. I forgot to vlog yesterday. Forgot I was vlogging. Yesterday, I spent the day editing and getting my video up that went up yesterday, my December wrap up, and just being a sack. I have a really long week ahead. I have 3 graveyards coming up this week, and that was a surprise when I checked my schedule yesterday. But yeah, and we're having new equipment installed in the store that I work at, which means more work for me being the bookkeeper, and I am not looking forward to it, to say the least. It's going to be a long week. My boss has been on vacation since Christmas Eve was the last day I worked. He finally comes back on Monday, thank God, because it's been the blind leading the blind. But it's just, work's been hell, and it's not going to get any better this week. But I'm trying to keep up with my reading. Like, I want to start this year off good, and my vlogs aren't going to be that interesting until something exciting happens, which in my life is not very often. But I'm going to try to keep my updates short and sweet, because I am reading Red Rising, which that wasn't even in the shot. Let's see. Oh, I'm on page 107 of Red Rising. So I'm a good chunk of the way in now. Still enjoying it. It is a rather slow moving book. Like, there hasn't been much action, but this is very much a political dystopian in space. It's very much, trying to find, his footing. So this is a story about Darrow, who in this world, which I think I've already explained it. I can't remember. I filmed the clip 2 days ago. So we have our main character, Darrow, who his wife pretty much has this, why can't I think? This dream of not being a slave anymore. And her whole deal is she tries to get Darrow to see that they've been brainwashed and all this stuff. And she pretty much sacrifices herself to the greater good. And where I'm at now, Darrow has been taken by these people, the son of Ares, and they want to make him a gold to infiltrate the gold and pretty much bring them down from the inside. So it is very, very cool the way the world is structured. I really like the way the world is structured. You're getting a little bit more about it as you read. It was still very confusing to start out because you're kind of dumped in the world and like the different terms and stuff, but it's coming along. I understand why people really enjoy the series because it's a really fun sci-fi with the dystopian twist, and I'm enjoying it. It's got, what kind of vibes does it have? Like, it reminds me, can't remember what it reminds me of as I was reading it, because with the different class systems and stuff, it's good. I really enjoy it. So far, I haven't read any of it today. I read some yesterday, but I haven't read any of it today, because today I was focusing on this fucking beast, An Echo of Things to Come. I am 99 pages into this, which looks like nothing, but that's 100 pages, because this is an almost 800-page behemoth of a book. But I started this. This is the sequel to The Shadow of What Was Lost, and it picked up pretty much right where Shadow left off. I think there's a 2-week or 3-week time jump, but that ain't shit in a fantasy world. It's taking me a minute to get reacclimated to the world, which is weird because I just finished it in the beginning of December, but there's a lot of fantasy names, and the fantasy names, like, I swear fantasy authors try to, the makeup words that they make are just, but getting back into it and getting reacquainted with my characters and really enjoying it, he's doing the thing where, you got some answers in the last book, but you still aren't getting very much in this one. I mean, granted, I'm 100 pages into it, but it's like you give a tiny little bit, give you a little snippet to make you feel better, and then we're going to dump like a 50 million questions on you so you can just keep reading. But it's good. So I've read my pages for that today. I feel like a jerk because I forgot to message Cindy yesterday and be like, oh, hey, we're starting today. And then so I messaged her today. Hopefully she responds and sees it, because I'm already 2 days in and 100 pages in. And if she hasn't started, then I'm going to feel like a jerk. But if she hasn't started, I'll stop and wait for her to catch up, because we read the first one together and I enjoy buddy reading with her. Which, if she has to catch up, that gives me more time to keep going on Red Rising, because I'll probably read some Red Rising later. I'm taking a break from the reading because Red Rising I've been reading really fast. Echo I'm reading a lot slower, because with all the heavy fantasy and the fantasy names and all the information you're getting, because it's such an intricate fantasy world, you have to kind of read it a little slower. And today I got a package that I bought myself. It's up on the shelf. I'm not going to go get it. I just threw it up on my shelf, but I got The Blade itself, the first book in the First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie, which I'm really excited about because it's like super grimdark, and I can't wait to read that one. And I bought Cody a copy for Christmas, and I want to read it. It's a lot thicker than I thought it was, but that's fine. It's fantasy, and I'm excited to read that one. I know that one's a very character heavy, but just very morally gray and like super grimdark. So, you know, knowing me, I might try to sneak it onto the TBR, but I'm already reading a big fat fantasy. And then this is a sci-fi fantasy. I believe they classified it as, I know it's definitely sci-fi 100%, but I'm really enjoying Red Rising. I wasn't sure. I was hoping that I would, but I've heard such mixed reviews about it, but I'm enjoying both. That's my little reading update. I'm catching up on BookTube, so I'm going to watch that and relax, and then hopefully read some of Red Rising. I'll try to be better at, like, updating. But my updates are literally just close-ups of me talking about what I've read, which I guess is the point. But my close-ups always look like a hot mess because I've been laying in bed reading. So, you know what you came for. My reading vlogs aren't nearly as watched, not watched nearly as much as my sit-down videos, which is fine. I enjoy making these. It helps keep me accountable. It helps keep me reading. So I will continue to do them even if they get like half the watches that my other videos do. But anyways, that's it. I'm gonna go back to watching my stuffs, and I will see you guys later. Hey guys, happy Tuesday. So I've been a shit vlogger this week. This is only my third clip, so this will be a short vlog. I love vlogging because it keeps me accountable for what to read, period. And I get to talk about what I'm reading while I'm reading it, which I find very cathartic. But nothing's happened this week. Like, I literally have just been at work or at home. So, like, there's really, yeah. It's going to be 3 clips of me talking about the same 2 books. And that's just kind of how it goes. Because, you know, I have a boring life. So, reading update. Because that's what you're here for, right? Red Rising, I just read this morning, like 174, 175 pages into Red Rising. My body woke me up at like 5 a.m. this morning because my body hates me on my day off. And so I read this morning. I have a little book light that, yeah. So I read in bed this morning. So I read another about 50 pages or so. I'm really enjoying this. This is not what I expected it to be. I don't understand why people think that it's slow, because I've heard people say that it's slow, because it's not slow. It is very definitely a lot of world building built into the plot, so you can kind of see how this world is developing. And this is a trilogy plus another trilogy that comes behind it with some of the characters from this series, from what I understand. Don't really know. Almost halfway through the book, like, you know, how it's developing. But I didn't realize, I'm gonna set that down, my arm hurts. This book is a lot like The Hunger Games. It takes a lot of little bits and pieces from other books and has kind of made it his own. So now the world, like, it's weird, they talk about democracy, but they spell democracy wrong. Instead of a C, they use a K, and pretty much talk about how it's so evil and how that's why, you know, we fought all the time and had wars and all this other stuff, is because people weren't in their proper places. It's just insane. So the whole caste system is huge, and it's all divided by color. So the only thing I knew going into this is that our main character was a red, and he was trying to infiltrate the golds, which is the top, and the reds are the bottom. That is true, but it's way more intricate than that. Like, I thought it was going to be a little bit different. I didn't really know what to expect going in, but Darrow is a red. He is now infiltrating the golds, and the way that they got him to do that is really insane. A lot of science fiction-y, fantasy technology involved in that. It's pretty cool. Where he's at right now, it's like a twist between a magical school trope and the Hunger Games. Kinda. It's weird because he's in this school to where they're trying to find the best golds so that will be, these new crop of golds will be their leaders and their generals and all this stuff. So they're in this situation where it's like this part of Mars where it's like set up like the Hunger Games, only they're not like in a bubble. And there is all these different fortresses that are named after, there's 12. So there's houses like Harry Potter in this school, but these houses are named after different Greek, or is it Greek or Roman? I think it's Roman gods. Yeah, because it's Mars, Mercury. So after the Roman gods. And they're all set up, and they're pretty much dropped like after going through all these tests to figure out which house they're in, which they don't, the way they're selected by the houses. And so they're in these different fortresses, and there's can't remember, I think there's 50 per house, and they're playing a game where each house has a proctor that leads the house, and they watch up on Mount Olympus, which is funny because that's like Greek, but whatever. So they watch up there in this like world, or this like little carved out piece of land, while these kids fight. And they don't fight till the death, and these kids are like, mid to late teens, and they're not supposed to die. If deaths happen, okay, they have meds people, like med bots, to like take care of them if something happens, but they're not supposed to kill them. They're just supposed to overtake them and enslave the other kids. Like that's, kind of like it's a rebuilding of, it's like a how their society was built, and now these kids have to play it out. And it's really interesting because where they're at, like they've just been left alone. I mean, there are people watching them from above or whatever, like kind of like the Hunger Games, only they're not fighting to the death, and it's just watching to see who emerges as a leader. How are they going to get food? You have to remember, like, most of these golds, like, all of them are golds, and they've been pampered their entire lives. Most of them have never had to lift a finger for themselves. And Darrow, who was a red and is masquerading as a gold, like, he's been through hell, and he knows what it's like. So it's an interesting, so it's like a very much a social experiment. It's a political experiment. It's really interesting. I'm really enjoying it a lot. So we'll see how it goes. I'm curious to see how this unfolds, and like, is he going to make friends with these people? Because by nature he hates them. They've enslaved him his whole life. So it's interesting now that he's a gold, like how he befriends these people. I'm really enjoying it. It's really good. It's really easy to pick up and just read. The chapters are a lot shorter, and I love books with shorter chapters because then it kind of like propels me to keep reading. Oh, just one more chapter. Oh, just one more. It's not that much longer. And then by the time I realize it, I'm halfway through the book. But I'm also reading An Echo of Things to Come by James Islington. This is book 2 in the Lycanius trilogy. I am 207 pages into this, I think now. No, 209. And that looks like nothing. That's 200 pages. It's like nothing because this book is 700 pages long. But this book is fantastic also. It is the sequel of Shadow of What Was Lost. I can't form words. The only thing with this one is that it's been really not difficult, but slightly difficult to get back into the world. I read it last month, or I finished it at the beginning of December, but it's been really hard to get back into the world. The world is really complicated. It's a very complex world, and there's tons of characters. Right now we're following 4 different perspectives, and so it alternates each chapter. We're following Davian, who was a main in the last book. So we're following Davian, Asha, Weir, and Caden, and those are the 4 that we're following. And they're all so very, very different, because you have Davian, who's an augur, and he is now at a different toll, which is like I don't even know how you describe it. It's almost like kind of like a church, it's like where the gifted, it's like a hub for the gifted. But he's there training and trying to find other augurs, and he's with a couple other ones, and right now he's in a really shit situation. He just got himself into one. But you've got him there, and then you've got Weir, who is now the North Warden, because he took over, so he's like a part of, he's royalty, so he's a part of like royalty and stuff like that. So he's all the way on the other side of the country dealing with that. And then you have Asha, who is in the same spot as Weir, but she's trying to find something else and figure out another mystery that came from the first book. And she's in a really shitty situation right now too. And then you have Caden, who is trying to regain his memories, and we don't even know where he is, because he keeps moving, he keeps portaling to like different parts of the world. We have no idea where he's at right now, but he's in the process of getting his memories back. And we just got a big revelation that is left over from the first book. We just had a big reveal, and it was one of those reveals where it wasn't like, this is this, ta-da! Like, it was one of those where it was a sneaky reveal, to where you have to have read the first book and remember an important part of the first book, where I was sat there, my jaw dropped, was like, oh, holy shit. Like, it was like, a dot connected. And this world is so intricate, and he's done a fantastic job. It's just, there's a lot of time travel. There's not actual time travel in the book per se. Well, that's kind of a lie. But it's like, this world spans thousands of years, and there are characters in this book who are immortal and have been alive for thousands of years. So when you're in the mind or following the normal mortal people who've only been alive for 18, 20 years or whatever, and they're talking about their history and what happened in the past and all these random names that were important in history and stuff like that. You hear them talking about it, and then you're in the mind, or you're in the space of one of these immortal people, and that big person they were talking about from 2000 years ago was them, just in a different body and going by a different name. So it can be very confusing when you're trying to, go, okay, so this person is also this person, and they were, this person is like 5,000 years old. And how does this relate to, the big bad that's still looming? Like, how does this all relate? How does it all fit together? It is one of those epic fantasies that is very widespreading. It goes thousands of years. It's just a lot, so it's kind of a slow go read. Like, Cindy and I are reading 50 pages a day, which is good, because sometimes you have to reread a couple sentences just to make sure you're absorbing what's happening. And with so many characters, and the names are not easy, they're very complicated. I think Caden and Asha are the easiest names in this entire book. Davian is easy, but I keep wanting to say I keep wanting to say David, but it's Davian. There's so, like, Elan, I think, is the name of one of the cities, but the way it's written, it's really hard to pronounce. There are monsters and stuff, really hard to pronounce. A lot of the names, really hard to pronounce. Like, it's just, I mean, there's maps and stuff so you can see the places, but the names are so difficult, and a lot of them are so similar. It makes it kind of, you have to go slow to make sure okay, this is this person and this one's this person, even though their names are similar, to keep everybody separate. I'm still really enjoying it. It's still really fast paced. Things are happening really fast. And I like that in an epic fantasy, because sometimes epic fantasies can drag and be really slow, and there's a lot of world building or politics, and it just takes forever. But this does the world building inside of the action, which I really appreciate, because I can stay engaged and I stay focused on what's happening. And there's so much fun stuff happening right now. I'm really, really enjoying it. I really love it so far. But, yeah, this one's going well. I have done my reading for the day. I may read some more of Red Rising later. I have the house to myself. I work a graveyard tonight. So officially Wednesday will not exist again this week, because I have a dentist appointment tomorrow morning. Well, I'm coming off a graveyard. I'm going to try to get a nap. I have a dentist appointment at 10 a.m. And then I'm going to go visit my friend Adrian and her boyfriend Dave. He was in the hospital for like 3 weeks, and he just got home last week. So this is the only time I have to go visit. So I'm going to go visit with them. So we'll see. Like, I'll probably post another vlog next week. It'll just be a lot like this one, where it's just me talking about my thoughts. Kind of Murphy style, just hers are better and more well-produced, and she uses a better camera, not her phone. And she has her sweet little son, Drennan, in there, which my kids are old and they're not sweet and nice anymore. But yeah, that's it for this vlog. If you guys have any ideas on any videos you want to see me do, please let me know in the comments. I'm at this point now where I'm like strapped for ideas and content, which I really hate. It was like at the end of the year, everything was like flowing really nice. I had a vlog every week and I had a video idea, so I had things up. But my last video, which you should have already seen, my top books of the decade is going up. Going up today. Today's Tuesday. I have to edit it first. And then it'll go up. So that'll go up. And then, yeah, just my vlog on Friday. And then I have no idea what else to post for the rest of this month beside vlogs. And then, TBR and wrap up and shit like that. So yeah. I would really appreciate your input on like anything you'd like to see. The only thing I'm not really keen on doing is a goals video, because I don't set goals for myself. I don't set subscriber goals. My only goal is my Goodreads. Like I want to read 52 books. I always set it at that. Other than that, I don't really have goals. I don't bullet journal. To me, like, and I sound like a terrible person. No offense to anybody who does this. Bullet journaling just seems like a waste of time to me. You just like, you're coloring fun stuff in a book and you're writing down like everything you read in a month, but Goodreads tracks that for me. Like there's an app for that. I have an app that tracks that for me. I don't annotate my books. So I don't, sometimes bullet journals are good for that. I don't do anything besides just read and then talk about what I read. So, if there's anything you guys would like to see, please let me know. Because right now I'm just creatively drained and I have no idea what to post, and besides my vlogs. So that's what you're getting until I can think of something, or you guys give me a great idea. So yeah, please let me know in the comments down below if you have any ideas on what to do. And I'm going to go get something to eat and maybe read some more Red Rising because I'm really enjoying it, and I need to edit. I mean, I'm going to edit first. I need to edit that video and get it set to post. And yeah, but I will see you guys in the next one.